If you had to boil down everything that happened in AI this week into a single theme, it would be this. AI is officially getting to work. We're seeing this massive shift, right? Moving away from just talking about theoretical power and chasing benchmark scores and actually putting that power to work in the real world. So yeah, let's get into it.
And honestly, nothing captures this shift quite like this quote from the team at Minimax, a model that helps build the next version of itself. I mean, that sounds like something straight out of science fiction, right? But it's not. It was the headline released this week, and it really points to this future of increasing AI autonomy that we're racing towards.
So let's start right there. This week, we saw something that really looks like the arrival of a truly self-evolving model. And it comes from a company called Minimax with their brand new release, M2.7.
Okay, so take a look at this. What's so wild here is the combination of raw power and how cheap it is to run. I mean, look at that top chart. M2.7 scores a super impressive 50 on the Artificial Analysis Intelligence Index. That puts it right up there in the top tier. But the real story, the game changer, is in that bottom chart. It's sitting right in that perfect sweet spot, incredibly intelligent, but with a really low cost, and that makes it a seriously disruptive new player on the field.
But here's the secret sauce. This diagram shows how they're doing it. It's called the M2 Star Model Iteration System, and it's a workflow where, yes, humans are still steering the ship, but the AI agent, M2 Star, does a huge chunk of the heavy lifting. It's reading logs, writing up reports, and actually helping the human reinforcement learning team plan the next experiment. Minimax is claiming the AI is handling between 30 and 50% of this entire workflow. Just let that sink in for a second. A huge piece of the work to improve the model is being done by the model itself. It's literally become an active participant in its own upgrade cycle. It's pretty mind-blowing.
So this whole idea of a model improving itself isn't just a one-off thing with Minimax. It's actually part of a much bigger trend we're seeing across the entire industry. The new arms race isn't just about building the biggest, baddest model anymore. It's about efficiency, it's about speed, and it's about specialization. And this slide, I think, just nails the split we're seeing. On one hand, you've still got the giants, right? The massive frontier models, unbelievably powerful, but also really expensive to run. But on the other hand, you've got this new breed of smaller, faster specialists. Now, they might not do everything, but for specific jobs, like coding, they are incredibly fast, way more cost-effective. It really is all about using the right tool for the right job now.
And man, this field of specialists is just blowing up. Just look at this lineup. You've got Cursor's Composer 2, which is an absolute powerhouse for coding, and at a great price point. Then there's Alibaba's new Qwen model, which is just climbing the leaderboards for its amazing reasoning ability. Xiaomi's Mimo V2 Pro is really interesting because it has a low hallucination rate, which basically means it's much less likely to just make stuff up. And you've got Mistral's Small 4, which uses this really clever hybrid architecture to be super efficient. Everybody is carving out their own specific, valuable niche. So here's the big question. What do you do with all of these new, efficient, super specialized models while you put them to work? And this is where we're seeing that huge leap from just typing in simple prompts to building actual products that are powered by autonomous agents.
And a huge part of this puzzle is a new concept called headless SaaS. Think of it like this. For decades, we've built software with buttons and menus, user interfaces for humans to click on. Headless SaaS is different. It's software that's built from the ground up with APIs for AIs to call directly. There's no human interface. It's the plumbing, the infrastructure that lets these AI agents actually do things out in the digital world without a person having to be in the middle of it all. And we saw this happening all over the place this week. Perplexity's agent can now literally control your local web browser. Google showed off Gemini handling these really complex multi-step tasks, like ordering an Uber while understanding the context of your request. And Throtic is pushing Claude directly into the Office with integrations for Excel and PowerPoint. And they even have this feature where you can start a task on your phone and the agent will finish it on your desktop. This is AI punching the clock and getting a job. But I think my absolute favorite example of this AI getting to work theme came from the community. A user on Reddit took Claude code and did something the modding community for the game Disney Infinity just couldn't crack for over a decade. They reverse-engineered the game's code and removed a character restriction. We're talking about a super complex task that involved digging through assembly code and making 17 different binary patches. Just incredible stuff. And this wasn't just some niche post that nobody saw. That number you see, 3781, that's the engagement score on Reddit. The community absolutely went wild.
It's just a stunning example of what happens when you put these incredibly powerful new tools into the hands of a determined, creative person. It proves the incredible potential that exists way beyond just corporate product announcements.
Of course, this whole wave of new capabilities, it doesn't just come out of nowhere. So what's actually making it all possible? Well, for that, we need to pop the hood and take a look at the engine room, the hardware, and the core architectural innovations that are driving all this progress.
And you really can't talk about the engine room without talking about NVIDIA. At their big GTC conference, the message was crystal clear. We've hit what they're calling the inference inflection point. The focus of the entire industry is shifting from just training these massive models to being able to run them efficiently at a massive scale. And that's driving this huge demand for new hardware like their Vera Rubin systems.
And then on the software side, you're seeing these brilliant new ideas like attention residuals. Okay, to put it simply, think of an AI model as having many layers of processing. Traditionally, information just gets passed from one layer to the next in a straight line. This new architecture, it lets each layer intelligently look back at the previous layers and decide for itself which pieces of information are the most important ones to carry forward. It's a much smarter pathway, and the result is a 1.25 times compute advantage. That is a huge leap in efficiency.
And that's not all. You have things like Mamba 3, which is a whole new architecture built specifically for this new world where models are constantly running. Then you have techniques like index cache, which find these clever little ways to speed up how models pay attention to information, giving you another speed up. And new retrieval methods are showing that if you let an AI look for information using multiple angles at once, it's just fundamentally better for complex reasoning. Every one of these is another vital piece of this giant efficiency puzzle.
Okay, so for all the talk about these billion-dollar labs and giant corporations, some of the absolute most exciting action is happening somewhere else entirely. We're talking about the open source community. These are the garage innovators, and their ecosystem is just absolutely thriving right now.
I mean, the set of tools you have for running powerful AI on your own computer is getting incredibly sophisticated. You can literally use a one-line command from Hugging Face, and it'll detect your hardware and get the best agent up and running. Then, a tool like Unsloth Studio gives you this simple web interface to train and run hundreds of different models using way less memory. And then these frameworks like Hermes Agent are making it easier than ever to build your own robust agents. It's amazing.
And just look at the excitement. This isn't happening in a vacuum. You can see it right here on the chart. When Unsloth Studio launched, it just generated this massive buzz online, a Reddit activity score of over 1,000. New open source models like OmniCoder 9b, new agent frameworks, they're all driving this constant high-energy discussion. The open source world is just moving at a breakneck pace.
So all of this, it kind of brings us to one big final thought. This week showed us models that can take part in their own evolution, and agents that can take real action in the world on our behalf. It all points to this future of increasing autonomy, and so the question we're all left with is a pretty big one. In this new world, what is the new role for us, for the humans in the loop? That right there is the question to really think about as this technology continues its rapid march forward. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.